Hi, I'm Sam from Studypool, and today I'm going to be giving you a very brief introduction to one of the must-reads of 2018. Educated, a Memoir by Tara Westover. Educated follows the story of Westover and her siblings' childhood in rural Idaho, being raised by an increasingly paranoid and survivalist father, intent on separating his children from the rest of the world. As you can imagine, this presented a whole host of problems for Westover to deal with. Now, these aren't your typical tales of teenage angst, however. Westover details how her and her siblings suffered broken bones and lost limbs working at the father's scrap metal yard. They were denied a basic education and prevented from seeking basic medical help. She also had to contend with physical abuse from her older brother throughout her childhood into her teenage years. Despite all of this, she took it on herself to study hard and gain access to Brigham Young University, opening up her world to a whole host of cultures which at first seemed alien and foreign to her. This too presented problems in itself. As she got to school, she realized she had no knowledge of current events. She didn't know about the Holocaust, she didn't know who Martin Luther King was, and she presumed that Europe was a country, not a continent. However, in spite of all this, her inner flame and work ethic impressed her peers and professors alike, opening up doors that would eventually lead for her to pursue her PhD in Cambridge University, England. Now, let's take a quick look at three of the most important themes present in Educated. The first and most obvious is that of religion. Westover's father was an extremely religious man who forced these beliefs on his wife and later his children. These religious beliefs, especially when it pertains to women and their status in society, are arguably the root of most of Westover's childhood problems. This religious fervour also gave rise to the belief that the apocalypse was constantly coming. Indeed, her father became increasingly disappointed as the world never seemed to end. It's also important to note that although even now, Westover cannot agree with her parents' views on religion, especially when it comes to women, it's important to note that the Mormon-owned university, Brigham Young, gave her the escape she needed to put behind this past life. The family's religious nature gives rise to a second and just as important theme, that of the patriarchy. There is no doubt whatsoever that the Westover family was a patriarchal society, run by an increasingly tyrannical father. It was his beliefs about the school system being run by the Illuminati which meant the children could not get an up-to-date and current education. His mistrust of modern medicine also ensured that they never went to a hospital appointment, even when they were in dire need. Patriarchy also raises its ugly head when we deal with Westover's abuse suffered at the hands of her elder brother. Despite presenting evidence over and over again to her parents, they would never take her word over her brother's. Our third theme is that of schooling and education and the importance that it played in Westover's life. Lacking an up-to-date and comprehensive education, Westover was insulated and shut off from the outside world. It is only through education and attending university that she was able to explore countless other cultures and have opportunities open for her that she otherwise wouldn't have dreamed of. It's also important to note that education enabled her to look at her own scenario and realize how poorly she had been treated growing up, in essence, giving her the inspiration to write this book. Thanks for watching this very brief introduction to Educated. If you would like to explore these themes in more detail, or want a chapter-by-chapter breakdown of the book, be sure to check out Studypool's comprehensive study guide of this and many other titles on our website. Happy reading!